We've all been there. You've prayed for that one thing for years. You've worked toward a goal that feels like it's being blocked by a brick wall. Sometimes, the hardest part of life isn't the struggle itself. It's the temptation to just stop, to give up, to faint. Jesus knew this feeling. He lived in a world that could be just as cold and bureaucratic as ours. And so, the Bible tells us, "And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray, and not to faint." Today, let's look at a story about a woman who refused to faint. There was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither regarded man. He was a man, a judge, with a heart of stone. In that same city lived a widow, a woman with no status or protection, who came to the judge again and again seeking justice. And so the widow came unto him, saying, "Avenge me of mine adversary." For she had no one to stand up for her, and no way to influence the judge. She had only her plea for justice and the courage to keep asking. She needed aid and called for the law to stand up for her. Imagine the scene. Every morning the judge walks to his bench, and there she is. Every morning he would arrive to find her waiting, and every evening as he left, she was still there at the entrance, a silent, steady presence. She was relentless in her plea, and for a long time he was just as relentless in his refusal. The Bible simply says, "And he would not for a while." He remained unmoved, letting the silence stretch out while she stood her ground. But eventually, her consistency broke his indifference. He rubs his temples, looks toward where the widow waits, and finally shows resignation. He says within himself, "Though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me." She made it impossible for him to remain indifferent. So, he finally granted her request. In telling us this story, Jesus is inviting us into a deeper truth, that our struggles are never a burden to him. He doesn't want us to carry our weights in silence. He wants us to bring them to him, because he is a loving Father who cares deeply about every detail of our lives, and is always ready to listen when we speak. If even a cold, unjust judge can be moved to do the right thing because someone persists, how much more will your heavenly Father who loves you listen to you? And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Sometimes the bearing long part is the hardest. It's the season where you feel like you're walking through a storm. But in those moments, we have a promise that goes beyond just getting an answer. It's a promise of God's presence. "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." God isn't just waiting at the finish line to give you justice. He is with you in the fire and the water while you wait. The story ends with a question. When things get hard and the answer seems silent, will we be like the widow? Will we keep showing up? Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Faith is simply refusing to give up on the one who never gives up on you. And this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us.